The answer is going to shock you, my friend. So Steph Curry gets his quickness from deep squats. Also, his love of soccer growing up, and just the countless hours of basketball he's played. Pretty simple. Obviously, there's more, but I think those are actually the three main contributing factors. And it was crazy to hear recently that the Chicago Bulls were a huge, their strength coach, Vermeule, was a huge advocate of slant squats, and they were doing that in their training. The first year they won in 1991, and 92 and 93. So he's part of their first three-peat. What's crazy about Vermeule is at the time he also did slant squats with the San Francisco 49ers, and they won a championship in the same year. So he's actually the only strength coach to win championships in both, or help two championship teams win in different professional sports, which is totally unheard of. And yeah, when I was growing up, I did half squats. I'll do a deep squat tutorial soon, like where I'm actually deep squatting, but today I am pretty sore, so I just want it to be muy tranquilo, which means chill. And so I'm just doing a bit of a strongman workout here. But growing up, I did half squats, and could have been way better if I did deep squats. The quickest recently in the summer, I was deep front squatting. So when you front squat and your heels are elevated and your feet are close together, it helps you target the quads in a very deep range of motion. So when I was front squatting with really good form, 85% of my body weight, I was, for the first time in my life, I'm 31, I could dunk a dodgeball. I felt really quick on the basketball court. I felt like I could get super low. When you freeze frame Michael Jordan play, it's crazy, man. His knees are like way over his toes, and he's just in this low position that is just insane. And I've kind of felt that to, obviously a very small degree of what Michael Jordan felt, but I think one of the key athletic boosters is the deep squat. And so Steph Curry deep squats, and I haven't seen him deep squat like a ton of weight, but I know he does it, and it's definitely a contributing factor to his quickness. It's one of the least talked about things right now. 99% plus basketball teams don't deep squat, which is insane, because recently the University of Houston, a guy named Alan Bishop, who went to the same school as Al Vermeule, the same university, and so he started doing deep squats with his team, and basically Houston was unranked with unranked recruits. And you see they got into the NCAA finals with the Florida Gators, and they're just about to win. They're super close, like 2 points or something. But the point is, they went from 0 to a lot really quick. Same group of guys, no changes to the roster, or like maybe a few changes. The main guys are the same. And I was like 4 years of training doing deep squats and strongman stuff, which I'm doing right now. Woo! And so it's just it's not talked about very much, and the results are crazy. So if you actually get on this, and I'll make demonstration videos soon, but if you get on this, you're gonna have a huge advantage. Like it'll be kind of nuts. Yeah, I love this place. So these squats, Steph Curry, flow state. Steph Curry is the best flow state athlete maybe ever. Maybe Michael Jordan was up there too, right? But I'll give you a bunch of flow state tips, but Steph Curry, he does meditation. His form of meditation is playing basketball. I'm not sure if he does more above that, but he's meditated when he plays. And think about when you're a kid. When you're a kid, in the first 8 years of your life, 7 years, you're basically in complete hypnosis. Your brain is in a low frequency. Basically, set us down for a bit. When you're really stressed out, your brain waves go like this, and that's alpha wave. And you're really stuck in your conscious brain, thinking conscious thoughts. And that's just like literally the stuff you think in your head, like, hey, think of a house. Boom. Okay, a house pops up in your head. Think of a basketball. Okay. Think of someone dunking. Okay. That's your conscious brain. Think about that thing you said like last year that was embarrassing in front of your friends, and you just can't let go of it. That's your conscious thought. And so that's like alpha beta waves. Your brain's going crazy. And when you're locked into that state, you're pretty much going to be bad at basketball. It's almost guaranteed that you'll be worse, at least, because you're not focusing on the game. You're everywhere except for the present moment. And that's the beautiful thing about sports, is that when you really lock in, you're having a fun time, you're laughing, you're enjoying the game, you're not thinking about anything else, and you're focused. It's funny, Jordan and Kobe didn't look like they were enjoying the game, but they were. That's how they enjoyed it. They like to lock in and win. And Steph Curry's a bit different. He likes to smile. You'll see him laugh. But I don't know. What do you think? I think Steph Curry might be the greatest. He might be the GOAT in terms of like who's ever shot this good. Like, this is actually insane. And so pretty much Steph Curry's in theta wave. That's what you got to be. You got to be a theta wave. That's how you get Steph Curry's focus. And it's something people call it flow state, where basically you're in theta wave, and the first 7 years of your life you're in theta wave. And that's why you learn rapidly, because your subconscious mind is being developed. And your subconscious mind is 99.9% of your brain power, which is a lot. That's basically you. And it's funny enough, people can't these days. Is an issue because people are unable to tap into their subconscious mind, which is most of where their intelligence is. And if you're stuck in your conscious mind in alpha beta waves, that's only 0.1% of your brain power. So you're not utilizing almost anything. You're not tapping into your intelligence. So when Steph Curry plays, he slows his brain down. The brain waves are like this. He gets slower, and he gets in theta state. It's a state of hypnosis, and that's why hypnotism is like a thing. The idea of hypnotism is you use techniques to slow someone's brain down to theta wave, and then in theta wave your learning increases by like exponentially, like an insane number. And then when they're in theta wave, you start to give them ideas and teach them things. And then now, once they're in theta wave, they can reprogram their subconscious mind, which is 99.9% of your brain power. So essentially, if you want to have Steph Curry focus, there's a couple techniques. So first of all, meditation. Meditation is how you is how you enter your brain into theta. And Steph Curry, you can see when he does it, when he's, like the other night, he was like, they're down by like 20. He's on the bench with Jimmy Butler, and he's like cracking jokes and smiling and stuff. And then boom, he just like goes off, and then they win. And so who else does that? Michael Jordan. Before games, there's a video. Have you guys seen that video of Michael Jordan when he's like, "I'm a jokester"? Like, before the game, a lot of people like to, listen to, like hardcore music and get amped up. It's like, not me. I like to chill out, relax, and sit back and tell some jokes and try to loosen up a bit. And that's coming from the GOAT, or one of the GOATs, right? Depending on how you look at it. And he's essentially slowing his brainwaves down to theta waves, and then when he's in the game, he's just like locked in and just and enjoying it, right? And that's how, like, think back, like, basketball is such a weird sport because it's so coordination and skill oriented. And for these type of sports, you basically, you can't have anything else in your head while you play. If you're thinking about what the coach thinks, and a lot of coaches out there, I'm sorry to say, their egos, I'm not gonna say that, but essentially a lot of coaches have a bad habit of taking their players out of flow state and theta wave, because simple things like, hey, you're shooting wrong. Like, have you ever had a coach tear down your confidence and then all of a sudden your shot goes from like worse to worse, or like from good to like really bad, just like in a matter like that, and then you're inconsistent and maybe you get it back if you just don't have a good relationship with the coach? It's very common. And like, I've had, when I was playing Canada rugby, I remember having like a super crisp left-hand pass. Like, I was proud of my left-hand pass. It was super crisp. I thought it was great. Like, I've given people great passes that way, like, for a long time. And even during Canada practices, I'd be like throwing lasers, and then the coach would come over and be like, no, your hand needs to be like this on the ball, and then would tell me, like, you don't have a good left-hand pass. That's like one of the main things you need to work on, or you won't get minutes. And then, like, I'm now all of a sudden, like, I'm in my head thinking about my left-hand pass, and then now it's a drill. I'm like nervous, and I'm throwing these like lopsided passes, and they suck. And I'm like, what is going on? It's like he just manifested my future, and that made me so mad. And I was lucky in high school to have a very supportive coach, because essentially some coaches, it's off and on. It's actually funny because for me, I got the green light because I would from a very early age, we had the same coach for many years. From an early age, I was there at practice early every day, working really hard, doing everything he said. And so, when a coach respects you like that, because you did the work, they're going to give you the green light. And when you have the green light, it's really easy to enter into flow state. Like right now, Steph Curry definitely has the green light. And when you got the green light, it's just like, okay, I'm here, I'm super confident. Okay, I'm just gonna shoot the ball. I'm gonna put this basketball into the hoop. Like, it really doesn't need to be that complicated. And a lot of coaches, they'll give the green light to some people and they'll give the red light to some people. And then the people with the red light won't get the chance to improve, and they'll be nervous the whole season. And sometimes it's just a spiral effect, and then it's hard to get out of that. I had one player with me who I played with for years, and I love this guy. He's such a good guy, and we actually grew up in the neighborhood together too. We'd go to each other's houses, play basketball, and be great. And essentially, for some reason, even though I thought he worked pretty hard, but he was kind of more of a nervous guy in general. And maybe, I grew up around like these Europeans that like yell a lot, and these like immigrant, like, God bless them, all love, right? But anyways, this guy, he would he got the red light for some reason, even though I thought he practiced quite a bit. For some reason, he got the red light. I think maybe because he like spaced out during the game, the details about drills, like stuff like that. But I don't even know. Honestly, he's a great player, but it is an important part of the story. First, like when we'd be playing, he'd be draining threes. I think he beat me at one time just from hitting so many, just like, I think it was like one time it was like 11-0 just because he's like ba 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 ba. And then we get to practice and nothing. Or like the game, nothing. He's like freezing up because he has his red light and he's worried like, what the coach thinks of him. I mean, is he going to let the teammates down? What's going to happen if I fail? And if that's stuck in your head, it's over. It's already over before it started. And then high school basketball, the season ended, and then we went to the summer, which was like we're doing rep stuff for rep leagues, and we're doing like the South Island like regional team, and it was crazy because there was an A and a B team. I was on the A team, you got on the B team, and our first exhibition game, their coach was literally the opposite of our high school coach, and all he did was like, Lewis, don't worry about any other experience you had. Right here, it's a safe place. I want you to shoot the ball because I've seen you in practice, and you're a talented player, and just do it. Like don't even think about it. Just fire it. You have the green light. I'm not going to stop you. You're a great guy, and so on. And then what happens? Our first game, A versus B team. This guy hits like 9 threes, and I don't know what happened. I don't know, for some reason they weren't keeping score. Weird. And I'm pretty sure we lost. And we had like a bunch of like all-stars who had the green lights on their high school team, but together we were actually working terribly. Meanwhile, the B team had a bunch of players who were like role players, and everyone's working together, and their players had the green light, which they never quite had on their school teams. And then the B team beat the A team, and like I would have loved, that was like the first game, and then we practiced and we got in sync and we were a lot better after that. But I would have loved to see an A versus B team rematch at the end of the season. But the thing is, with high school basketball players, there's so much ego involved that it just never happened. Or I don't know, maybe the coaches maybe thought it wouldn't help us. But forget ego. I think it's so much better just to look at life how it is. Just observe. And the more you can observe how life actually is, the more of an advantage you're going to have in life, and the more enjoyable and fulfilling life is going to be. So this whole thing with ego is just a waste of time, guys. It's a waste of time. And so pretty much Steph Curry is a flow state master. Another way you can get into the flow state is just by silencing all thoughts, practicing being in the moment. That's what it is. So like I just watched this actually ancient story, not ancient, but a very well-known story from the 16th century Japan. It was about samurais, and this guy was afraid of dying, basically, because samurais fought to the death. And during his practice, he was always really good, but when it came to an actual battle, he feared death. And so imagine if basketball it was life or death. That'd be crazy, right? So you need the ultimate flow state. It's the ultimate test of flow state. And so to fix this, what the samurai's master basically said, okay, today, Takeshi, Takeshi, we are sweeping the ground. And Takeshi's like, what? This is the secret? We gotta sweep the whole dojo? And he thought it was just ridiculous, right? But the point of it was that they sweep the dojo for like hours and hours and hours, and then at the end the master was like, what did you think about today, Takeshi? And then Takeshi was like, oh, I was thinking about training and this and like what this family member said and blah blah blah, and all these thoughts were racing, right? And then the master said, okay, well, until your mind is clear, we're gonna keep sweeping the dojo. And eventually Takeshi noticed how his master swept the dojo. Every movement was just very deliberate and intent, and the only thing the master was thinking about is sweeping the dojo, even though it's the most boring thing you could possibly do. And so when Takeshi learned this, finally his master could see that he learned this from the way he was sweeping the dojo. And then he was like, Takeshi, what did you learn from sweeping the dojo? And then finally he was like, I learned to keep my mind still or something like that. And then so he's like, okay, now you know. And then Takeshi went on to be a master samurai. And oh yeah, another thing was like, the master is like, okay, you're gonna battle, like, now you need to go to this village and protect this village from these bandits. And so what are you gonna think about when you fight 5 bandits at a time? Can you take all 5 of them? And then Takeshi's confident, like, yes, master, I can take on all 5 bandits. And the master said, no, Takeshi, then that means that you have already lost. Because as soon as you think about taking on 5 bandits, then it's over. You're done. The key is to just focus on the one action, the single action in the moment. And so for basketball, if you're down 20 points and you think about, I gotta make back all 20 points right now, then you're doomed, because now you're going up to shoot a 3 and it's rushed because you think you got to make all 20 points right now, and you're thinking about the 20th point before you even scored the first point. So the key there is to not think about the score, not think about anything, not think about what your coach thinks, not think about what your teammates are thinking, not think about that guy on the other team trash talking you. All you think is the second, the moment that's happening right now. It's like, what do I do right now? And in basketball, you basically want to be in a never-ending flow state, the same state that you're in when you're a child, and you're just having fun and playing, and there's no thought in your mind. Your conscious mind isn't even developed. You're fully subconscious, which is 99.9% of your brain power. And you just go in there and you just play and you just have fun. And I forgot how to do this for so many years. And that's why it hurts so much when I lost basketball. And I hope, if you're watching this, to not lose your sport or activity. And if you have strength training with the full range of motion, like deep squats, it's a great way to regain it, and also gain Steph-like quickness. But yeah, being in that moment and just playing like you're a kid, basically. And Steph Curry, possibly the GOAT, and he just loves smiling and playing, and like, don't sweat it, right? Like, because as soon as you start sweating it, you start thinking about all these negative things, and then you're out of the game. It's easier said than done, and that's why meditation practice is legit. If you one way you can practice it, actually probably the easiest way to practice it for all you guys, the simplest way, is just be in the present moment at all times. Takeshi, sweeping the floor in the dojo, right? It's super boring. So when you're at school and you're walking to school, you're just thinking about walking to school, and that's it. Because when you get into class and you're in class, you're just thinking about class. When you're talking with your friends at school, you're just talking with your friends at school. You're not thinking about 10 different things on your email and Instagram and who DM'd you and what you need to say to this person and that person. Just nothing. Just do the thing at hand, and that'll make, like, even if you're in class daydreaming about basketball all day, that's cool. I used to do that too. But try not to, like, build up this pressure, right? Like you will be better if you can clear your mind. Like, if that's an activity that you're doing, like, I'm gonna visualize basketball, because when you visualize a shot in basketball, it's actually very similar to actually shooting. Visualization, lots of research behind it. If you do 1,000 actual legit visualized shots, and your brain will think that you've done that, and you'll get better at shooting. So that's legit. But if you're just, like, stroking your ego while you're fantasizing about being the best in basketball, it's like, don't even think about being the best in basketball, because you're not yet. And like, it sucks because fantasies are great, but they're actually not great. They stop you from reaching your full potential, because if you think about just the present moment. Like, you're a beginner always. You're always a beginner, whether it's strength training or basketball. Every time you approach an activity, you just have intent and you think about just that activity and making sure it goes right, and just like locking in to that activity. It's always going to go better than if you're like mid-game daydreaming about hitting the fourth quarter buzzer beater. Like, I saw a funny clip of like someone who's like locking up Kobe for like 3 straight quarters, and he was like, dude, I can't wait, man, I've locked up Kobe all game, and dude, I'm gonna think about like I can't wait till after the game, I'm gonna call my brothers, be like, yo, I beat Kobe, man, I beat Kobe. And then at the end of the third quarter ended, and Kobe turns to the guy defending him and said, you had a great game. And then the fourth quarter started and it was over. Kobe just like went off and it ruined him. And I guess the point is like, that's celebrating early, daydreaming during the game instead of just being focused, laser focused in the moment. It's like almost like you can't celebrate until the job's done, right? That's kind of cliche, but it ties into what we're talking about really well here. Yes, sir. You gotta love the stadium. Alright, how nice is the stadium? It's my favorite place. A lot of people like the beach. I love the beach. I'm going to do lots of beach content too. I have a lot of cool beach workouts for basketball and basically all sports, longevity, just feeling really good. Anywhere, if you're like an elite athlete, it'll be really good. Also, if anyone, this stuff is applicable to everybody, because this guy's deep squatting behind me, which is great. It's like a natural human movement that we've lost because of desks and chairs. And let's get back to deep squatting. So why, and I need to demonstrate this to you guys, but there's important information here. Why deep squat? I'm going to deep squat here. One sec. Why deep squat with your heels elevated and your feet close together? Why is that so nice, so like good? Why is that so powerful? Deep squatting. Why is it so powerful? Because it's just a weak link for a lot of us. Humans used to sit here for 5 hours a day, and now we're in chairs 5+ hours a day. So we lost all our strength here. And so our standing strength and quarter squat strength and half squat strength is good because that's where we live. That's where we play sports. But when you get this deep squat strength, you're able to get so much lower, and that's why Steph Curry has a huge boost in quickness, and all the people we've talked about. Jordan, Kilgannon. Yeah, and so when you actually elevate your heels with a slant, which I'll show you in the demonstration, and then your feet are close together, essentially you're forced to use your quad, especially this lower quad here. And that's the biggest thing that's been lost, is the lower quad strength and the lower hamstring strength with Nordics. I'll do a Nordic demonstration too. Traditional strength training, we're always using the upper quad and the upper hamstring. This is for upper quad, usually half squats, upper hamstring, like deadlifts. But the cool thing, if you elevate your heels, put your feet close together and go, and then really focus on just like owning that bottom range of motion. So just so much control in that bottom range of motion, and actually build up weight safely and never increase weight until that bottom range is so controlled and pain-free and feels incredible. then that's what gives you, that's the key. That's the master key to becoming super athletic. And that's the missing link for 99% of people. And then that focuses on that's like the most pure squat you can do, because when you deadlift, you kind of squat, and when you squat, sometimes you kind of deadlift, and that's where people get messed up, because there's types of deadlifts you can do that are pure hinge. There's hinge and squat. So some deadlifts you do are pure hinge. I'll show you that right now. So a hinge is like this. That's a hinge. So it's all hips. My knees, they're not locked, but they're back. They're behind my toe. That's a hinge, right? That's rounding your back. That's not a hinge. That's spinal flexion. This is a hinge. See my butt, and my hips moved there, and my knees are back. And so when you do a Romanian deadlift, from hinging, it's all hips. And so you can really measure your hip strength by hinging without squatting. But then there's some deadlifts that include squats. See, like that's a squat deadlift. Now see, which is great, but it's hard to measure it. It's hard to measure your hinge strength because you're using both. And the same thing is true for squats. When you're squatting, a lot of people squat like this. Okay, that's pretty funny. My phone overheated. But pretty much a lot of people squat like this. And that is, that's like the typical half squat. And what that is actually a hinge, because your hips are actually moving back. And so you're getting a bit of quad strength, but not even close to the maximum that you need to really make a transformation in your sport. So you hinge, that's like a hinge squat, and then there's like squat deadlifts. But if you just focus on hinging, that's like pure hinging. It's a pure, like that deadlift is a pure hinge. You're gonna feel a big hamstring stretch. And then this is like a pure squat where you now see how forward my knees are, and my torso is upright. And so now when I stand up, you just think push with your legs. Also a heel elevation, it helps you get more into that squat position, which I'll show in the demonstration. This is a great resting position. But the point is, when you have the heel elevation and your legs are close together, and you actually have something here, like the weight in front, then it isolates this lower quad, which is what most of the athletes are missing. And so when you go up, you want to keep your torso up and just think push with your legs. And that's all you think. That's the only cue you need. And that way you can actually, you can measure your squat that way, and actually know like close to how powerful your pure squat is. And with the Romanian deadlift, you can measure how powerful your pure deadlift / hinge is. And all the variations in between are great. You just want to, but like with those two, you're actually set. You could just do those two, and you get crazy gains in your sport. You don't necessarily need the other ones, although, you know, if you really dive into it, you could, for maximum performance, also use those. But you know, simplification is really easy. If you can have a simple system, measure it, it's much easier to adhere to, and therefore you get better results. So that's really great. I'm also interested in podium deadlifts, because Charles Poliquin, that's another topic, one of the greatest Olympic strength coaches in history, recommended those for vertical jump and speed. But yeah, that's like a kind of a squatty deadlift, and full range. So anyways, we talked a lot about Steph Curry's secrets, not secrets, but hidden in plain sight really. But you know, a lot of the things contributing to his quickness and his focus. And so I hope that helped, guys, and I'm excited to bring you guys another video as soon as possible. All right, this is the stadium. Middle of the day, where everyone is taking their siestas. I'm definitely known to take a siesta here and there. People dance up there, which is kind of crazy. And this is where the local soccer team plays, Inter Playa, and I cannot wait to watch their games this season. Last night, oh yeah, I really want to tell you. Okay, this is some bonus material. Okay, so last night I came here and they opened up the fields to the public for the first time since being here, and it was awesome. I really wanted to get back to my roots of playing barefoot soccer because I thought, well, Steph Curry background in soccer, some of the greatest basketball players right now in the NBA had soccer backgrounds because and I felt it. You get this base, you get this advantage of this very long or very strong lower extremities. Your feet are just like so strong and like durable. And so over the years, wearing cleats and basketball shoes, I lost that, and I wanted to really get back into that. And those are some of the most joy-filled times in my life too. When I was playing barefoot soccer and basketball with my bros in the backyard, neighborhood friends. So good. So I'm playing last night, and I'm so sore today because, dude, like this 10-year-old local Mexican kid comes over, and he's pretty skilled, and like I'm really digging his vibe. Like he's just like totally in the flow state. I'm just passing the ball back and forth with him. You know, his family's around, and it was just like a bunch of families. And I was realizing, like, damn, it's different barefoot. Like, you lose that ability over years, and you know, I've been slowly regaining it over the last 4 years. But I'd love to be able to play full barefoot soccer games again on the grass, and so I'm working towards that. And so I'm pretty sore today, and I thought I was like, last night I was like, I'm toast. Like, and this little kid, you know, for small kids who've been playing who play lots of sports, they can just keep going and going and going. So we're basically just doing this like an intense game of pass, and we're doing cool tricks and stuff, and like flicking the ball over our head and juggling, and man, does it like kind of sting your foot when you're getting back into it, and just different forces that I'm not used to. Even though in the summer I was like playing men's basketball and like doing quite well, and it just goes to show you that you have these weak links that you don't even realize until you expose them by doing stuff like barefoot soccer and, you know, whatever else. So that was cool. And then also last night I had a great, awesome sleep, and I dreamt about. So I don't know if you've ever had those dreams of when you like when I stopped playing sports because of all my injuries back like 8 years ago or 10 years ago now. Basically, I kept having these dreams about the coach would dislike me and I couldn't dribble a basketball, and it sucked. And I think that's a very common dream for people who stop playing sports. Is they dream like that they're in this situation where everyone's disappointed in them and they can't play the sport anymore. I actually, for many years, forgot how to play basketball, which was very unsettling. But it was deep down inside, and then I could restore it recently. It was a beautiful thing. But anyways, in my dream last night, it was pretty funny. Just a bunch of friends playing basketball, big community. And then I walked up to, you know, I was being a kind of like childish and cocky, and it's kind of a funny, like kind of childish, cocky fantasy, I guess. But it was just like I walked up to like a girl standing there. I was like, "Oh, can I get your number if I hit this?" And then like she was like, "Sure." And then I like hit it. It just drained it. And then she was like, "Oh, well, I gotta give you my number." So it's just a silly dream, but I think maybe it was actually just telling me like that I kind of got it back, like my physical ability, and so that felt really good. And then in my dream, I was just playing really well with friends and enjoying the sport, and yeah, so that's what it's all about. So anyways, hope to bring you guys more videos like this as soon as possible. My inspiration is the stadium and also the community here, and and the beach as well. So okay, take care. See you guys next one.